What if I told you Drake isn't just beefing with rappers anymore, he's beefing with the entire machine that makes rappers rich? Forget diss tracks. Forget sneak disses on Instagram. Drake is now in a courtroom trying to drag Universal Music Group's biggest bosses into the witness stand, and the receipts he's asking for? Let's just say they're spicier than a Kendrick ad-lib. This isn't just celebrity drama. This is about the inner gears of the music industry, the contracts, the executives, and the behind-the-scenes power plays that decide which songs you hear on the radio and which artists get their moment in the spotlight. And in the middle of it all, we've got Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and the most powerful record label on the planet. So buckle up, because today we're breaking down the 10 wildest things buried inside this Drake vs. UMG legal battle. Some of it sounds like strategy, some of it sounds like pettiness, and all of it, pure entertainment. First up, the heart of the case, contracts. Specifically, Kendrick Lamar's contract with UMG. Drake's lawyers demanded an unredacted copy because they believe the fine print proves Universal had the power to stop Not Like Us from being released. UMG's response, they handed over a copy so blacked out, it looked like someone tested every Sharpie in the office. Imagine waiting months for evidence, only to get a document that's basically a crossword puzzle with no clues. If that's what the evidence looks like, you can only imagine what the next round of moves might bring. Because here's where it gets juicier. Drake's team claims UMG wanted Not Like Us out there. Not just wanted it, needed it. They argue Universal executives deliberately pushed the track because tearing Drake down boosted Kendrick and gave UMG leverage over Drake's own contract negotiation. Basically, Not Like Us wasn't just a diss track, it was a corporate chess move. And if that sounds dramatic, wait until you hear who Drake wants dragged into this mess. Not interns, not middle managers, he's gunning straight for the top. Sir Lucian Grange, the billionaire CEO of Universal. John Janik, the boss of Interscope. The Lippman brothers, who run Republic, Drake's own label. Drake's lawyers are like, yeah, let's just subpoena the Avengers of the music business. But UMG tried to block it by saying these guys are apex custodians, which is a fancy legal way of saying they're too important to be bothered. Drake's team fired back with case law saying, nice try, but no one's too rich for discovery. Translation, even billionaires gotta answer questions when the paperwork says so. If dragging execs into court sounds wild, it gets even wilder when you connect the dots. Drake's lawyers pointed out that Lucian Grange was literally on camera at the 2025 Grammys celebrating when Not Like Us won Record of the Year. Imagine trying to argue you weren't involved, while footage exists of you cheering like your team just scored the winning goal. But this isn't just about Kendrick versus Drake. It's about money. Drake's team is demanding all internal UMG emails and memos about renegotiating his contract. They want proof that Universal tried to devalue Drake's brand to gain leverage. Basically, Drake's saying, you didn't just promote Kendrick, you tried to kneecap me so you could save a few million on my next deal. And here's the irony, Kendrick isn't even a defendant in this case. Nope, Drake's not suing Kendrick. He's suing the machine behind him. That's like losing a basketball game and instead of blaming the star player, you sue the referee, the scoreboard, and the guy who sells popcorn in the arena. Now, you might be wondering, how does UMG respond to all that? Do they panic? Do they buckle? Not even close. Their lawyers basically rolled their eyes in legalese. They hit back saying Drake is acting like he's allergic to competition, forgetting that he's made millions rapping provocative lines about other artists. Their words, not mine. Drake started this. Imagine that the world's most powerful record label pulling a "he started it" defense. And to really twist the knife, UMG pointed out that they're still partners with Drake, still making him millions, still pushing his music globally. Their statement was basically, bro, we're literally still on your team. Why are you suing us? Here's the part nobody's saying out loud though. This whole lawsuit isn't just about defamation, it's about leverage. Drake knows his contract is up soon. He knows UMG wants to keep him. And what better way to walk into negotiations than with a stack of subpoenas and a message that says, don't play games with me. Now, whether this strategy works, that's another story. Courts don't like messy celebrity feuds turning into legal soap opera. But if anyone knows how to turn a feud into fuel, it's Drake. So, where does this leave us? On one side, you've got Drake, the master of controlling narratives, trying to prove the machine behind him turned against him. On the other, you've got UMG, the billion-dollar empire, saying, "Relax, it's just business." And stuck in the middle, Kendrick Lamar probably sipping tea, watching all this play out, and maybe writing another verse just in case. At the end of the day, this case could set a precedent for how much control labels really have over an artist's output, and how far they'll go to protect one superstar over another. Or it could just fizzle out into a very expensive round of he said, she said. Either way, it proves one thing. When it comes to the music industry, the biggest battles aren't always on stage, they're in courtroom. And sometimes, the juiciest diss tracks aren't written to beats, they're written into legal filings. If you found this breakdown wild, hit that like button before the lawyers redact it. And subscribe, because the next video might just uncover which contracts in the music industry hold the real power and which artists are just pawns in the game.